Hello, I am Kathleen Selmans. I am the CEO and co-founder of Amplified Now, a expert video content marketing agency that builds content for experts who want to have a content marketing library of actually their voice and their expertise coming through. And videos are what I have found to be a really good shortcut for experts, because even people who identify as writers do such a good job shooting from the hip, answering questions in the moment, capturing their expertise that way than they do with like that blinking cursor. And today I am joined by Derek Olsen. Derek, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. Derek Olsen, and I work with my wife, Carrie. We run a business together focused on voiceover acting. So, my wife is a full time professional voiceover actor. You've probably heard her voice on YouTube commercials, movie trailers, e learning modules, all kinds of stuff. And we also have another side of our business that focuses on helping other voice actors book more work, earn more money, and ultimately just become a more successful voiceover actor. So that's what I help her market those courses. We have a bunch of courses and online content that we market.
Cool. This series, this video series, came out of me not wanting to be the only voice on my YouTube channel talking about how video has transformed my business and the business of lots of other people. So we're calling it What's Working in Video. So can you tell me about, do you know when the moment in your business where you started introducing video?
Well, I don't know if there was one particular moment, but we do have quite a bit of traffic come from our YouTube channel. We get people all the time saying, I found you on YouTube. I found you on YouTube. It's constant. And she does have some videos up on YouTube that have, I don't remember exactly how many views, but it's a lot. It's I don't know, 50, 60,000, 70,000, something like that on her most popular video. And then we do have a lot of her training modules are video based. Some are on camera, some are just modules with text, but we do a lot of video with that, wanting to do more actually of it because it does work well. And so we're wanting to include more of that in there. But so I don't know if there was a particular time, but it's always kind of been there helping us along the way.
That's great. I think especially for a service like yours, and we'll link to all of the places you can find Derek and Carrie, but for something where you're teaching, or Carrie's teaching the methods behind how she's building her own business, do you find that video helps her, get known?
Yeah, we do a lot of the, forward facing public marketing. But she has also done a ton of when she gets an email, and rather than typing it up, which can take, I don't know, for some reason it can take forever to type up an answer, and then you reread it and edit it and blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's just easier to get on a video and record a 2, 3, 5 minute answer and then send it off. And it's so much more personal, and people are sometimes shocked. They're like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this video response. And they're just shocked because it's so much more personal. And you can answer the question better. You can explain, if you misspeak, you can kind of explain what you really mean in a video response. So she does a lot of that. And then we also just developed a sort of a FAQs page or a Q&A kind of page because we get the same questions over and over and over. And so rather than, typing up the same answer over and over and over, we're developing sort of a library that, and a lot of it is video, where she answers the question on video. So we can just say, hey, thanks for your question. We get this question a lot. Send them over to the place where that video answer is. And again, it's more personal that way rather than just text.
Right. What I find with video is that it helps the sales process. So that 6 months ago, Carrie can answer a question that today Carrie can benefit from not answering again. But it's still her same warmth, her same expertise coming through on these videos where she's just answering the same way she would if she were to pick up the phone. But then do you find that the sales process for someone who's asking a particular question has shortened because they are able to see video?
Yeah, and I can't point to any data, but I would have to say yes, because we have been implementing more of that, and we have seen our numbers go up quite dramatically this year. And although I can't point to any analytics, I just know that based on what people say, I found you this way. You just feel that the answer is yes. And so on the sales side, the marketing side, we've just been getting more sales where we're like, gosh, I'm not really sure where that sale. Sometimes you can kind of feel where the sales are coming from, and we've been getting more just like kind of out of the blue, which I'm kind of contradicting myself there a little bit, because it's like, well, I'm not really sure where this is coming from, but I just know it has to be from our efforts,
Right.
that we're putting forth. So
and it's probably not out of the blue. It feels like it's out of the blue, but they clicked around, they had their questions answered. They didn't have to book a call or anything, and then they could book right away. And people can sit on your mailing list for months and months and months and have it just be the stars align, the right place, right time.
So yeah, well, that's a much better way of saying what I was trying to describe there. Is it's not out of the blue. It's as a result of all this work that we put in, and just as you said, they're getting their their questions answered before they have to really reach out for a one-on-one or email a question or whatever. We're answering those questions preemptively before they have to get to us.
And have you been using video for content at all, for blog posts or?
Yeah, we do have some. Yeah. What we do is just kind of borrow from our YouTube channel and embed it into a blog post, extract some of the text from the video, put it in as text in a blog post, and then have the video there. If you want to learn more, here's the video, that kind of stuff. If you're a member of our VoiceOver membership, there's tons of video, because they do live Q&A once a month and live hot seat sessions once a month. That's all on video, and it's all recorded. And so if you're in our membership, you get access to the entire library, which grows every single month. So the longer you're in, the more content there is. And everyone who joins, if you join this month, there's so many videos, but if you join next month, there's more. And the next month after that, there's more. So the library just continues to grow and grow and grow. And there are people who join, and there's years worth. I don't know how many videos there are, but there's years worth of these videos. Some people join and they go watch all of them, every single video, and it's hours and hours and hours of content. And so capturing that and creating a library out of that content has been very good for us and for the students.
Imagine trying to create that out of whole cloth, just without video, without questions, or getting a question and feeling like you had to write 2,500 words to respond to somebody. I have a question about video especially for voiceover. Was there a conversation whether you decided to go like, should we do a podcast? Should we do video? And what led to video?
I think it was just kind of out of the data that YouTube is just so massive. You're in the online world for so long, you kind of forget that YouTube is just so massive. And YouTube, I think it's like the second or third largest search engine. You've got Google, and then maybe like Amazon might be, if you want to consider that even, and then YouTube. And so the amount of YouTube content that is out there and people searching on YouTube, don't forget, that it is massive. It's not a thing of the past. Like some people, it kind of gets old for people who, do it for a living, or online content creators or whatever. You kind of get bored with it or forget that it's so powerful. And it's just, so anyway, I think that was it. And we did take an SEO course that was mostly focused on Google SEO, but then they said, don't forget, there's a whole other world out there on YouTube, and it works a little bit differently, and you got to study it, a little bit differently. There are a lot of similarities, but don't forget about YouTube is basically what they were saying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anything that Google has purchased is a good place to
Yeah.
start when you want to like get in good with Google. Do you do much repurposing once you have your videos?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, tell me about what
Yeah.
that looks like for you guys.
Yeah, so we used to not do a lot of repurposing. We were certainly kind of pumping out a piece of content and it would only exist in that little part of the internet, whether it was an email or a blog post or a video. Even like a Q&A in Carrie's membership, you can repurpose anything. I mean anything. And once you realize that you can repurpose anything multiple times, that really was a big eye opener for us. This year, we would take a YouTube video that Carrie did 3 years ago, and we would turn it into a blog post because it's still relevant and different people consume content in different ways. And not everyone is going to see your YouTube video from 3 years ago.
No.
No. So you can repurpose it as a Q&A, as a blog post, so many different ways to repurpose something. You could even add it in as a bonus module in a paid for course. The fear there would be, well, wait a minute, this is free on YouTube. Well, so what? It's a bonus thing in my membership, and you may not have seen it before. Just because it's free in another spot doesn't mean that I can't include it in a paid for membership.
That's a really good point.
There's all kinds of ways to repurpose.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we really focus on in our business too is, we tell our creators, like, all you have to do is stand in your expertise for 5 to 10 minutes and we'll handle the rest. Because to your point, people consume content differently. And so the people that I'm talking to mostly don't believe, because they don't watch videos. Maybe they work in an open office or they're working from home, and anytime you turn on a video, you get buddies coming around. And so they think, well, since I consume my content in a written format, I need to only create written content. And my point is, like, you could create a video and never use it as a video and still come out ahead.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Just to kind of back that up, I'd be cautious, like you just said, be cautious of producing content only in the way that you personally prefer to consume it. That's not everyone. And also, kind of like what you just said there, I would take it one further, is be cautious also of creating content in a way that you're uncomfortable with, because you can learn and grow in those areas. You don't have to do I'm looking straight into the camera and I am speaking to my audience. You can do an interview like we're doing. Mm-hmm. You can do a Q&A. You can do Facebook Live. You can just read off a list of questions from your emails and then just answer them. So maybe take the pressure off of so much of a performance-based video series and mix it up and have somebody to bounce up so that you can still produce that kind of content, but do it in a way that you're comfortable with. There's more than one way to produce every single kind of content out there, and that includes video.
I agree. My favorite one right now is, like, call me when you're fired up. We'll hit record, and I want to hear about that. Because usually it's like somebody in my space said something completely wrong and they have a bigger platform than I do, and I have something to say about that. And I'm just like, hold on a second, let's set up the recording and let's get you on talking about it. Don't mention names. And then you just come across really passionate. It's really cool. It's a really cool way to do one type of, I don't think you could do like all rants unless you were that kind of personality, but
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, whatever works for you, right? Whatever works for you, because that's going to come across more genuine, rather than trying to do, like, for me, I have a hard time getting polished up and I can't,
whatever.
Yeah, I can't do fake energy. I cannot do fake energy, me personally. So it's not going to come across genuine. So it's not going to have the right effect. So that's not going to be a win for me. It's a win for somebody else who is good at doing, not saying fake energy, but having a different kind of energy than I have. I can't I can't copy that. So I'm going to do what works for me. Carrie's going to do what works for Carrie. You're going to do what works for you. That's what I would suggest when approaching something that's not as natural as it could be for others.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I think this is
Sure.
really helpful to lots of people who might be considering video or are not considering video.
Yeah.
I keep finding that, like, if I plant that seed, then they'll come back a little bit later being like, maybe it's okay, because it is such a good way to connect. It's connection at scale, as far as I can tell. It's easy to think about info products as taking the personalization away. But that people are buying access to Carrie. People are buying from Carrie, not just buying like a how-to, like a dummy's manual on how to get into some different kind of career.
Yeah, so because you can learn about just about anything out there, you can learn it from 50 different people. Same content, pretty much. And so you're really buying from people that like, and trust. And when you think about know, like, and trust, and then you add that with video, well, hello, it just like amplifies all of that. It just strengthens all of that. Know, like, and trust, because I'm seeing you on video. I'm not only hearing your voice or reading the words that you're typing, but I'm seeing your face. It really amplifies all of that.
Yeah, that's great. So where can people find you?
Well, so with Carrie, it's CarrieOlsen and then VO for voiceover.com. And so that is where most of my work, I'm behind the scenes, but that's where most of my work, appears. But we are launching, I guess it's not too soon. This will be kind of the first time I'm really bringing this to light, but we are launching a new podcast, and it is going to be at bestthatcouldhappen.com.
That sounds exciting. Awesome. Well, we'll link to that in the YouTube description below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're on the blog post, there'll be links also in here. And thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.